Hello and welcome to another Driven Catalyst live stream. Today we are going to be putting ourselves to the test, and we're going to do a little bit of like an Inception live stream, partially because I'm lazy, and also partially because, no, I don't want to own that. I'm not owning that. I'm very, very perceptive, actually, and I've been looking at the current moment we're living through, and I've decided that it may be helpful to sit and, in the same way, and it's quite ironic, and I'm surely not the first person to point this out, but we've had a lot of robots making us prove that we're not robots, right? The CAPTCHA test, where you have to select all of the images in the set of images, the whole vibe, I guess. From my understanding, those CAPTCHA quizzes were a part of the machine learning. Like, we were helping train AI. So now we're going to play the game of, can I even tell? Like, am I even able to do what I used to have to do to train the machine learning? Like, can I even tell the difference between something that is real and something that is AI generated? I don't want to brag, but I feel pretty confident that yes, I will be able to. But I think I probably will be a little bit surprised. And I will acknowledge this quiz that I am using is from February 13th of 2024. It's 2025. Wowza. So there's that. Also, I think probably the whole AI conversation is a little bit tired, but not quite, because it's still very, very much actively going on and doing a lot. It's doing a lot. So we're just going to today see if I can tell the difference. That's like the main point. So let's dive in. Here is the Britannica quiz for media literacy. And media literacy is what? Important. Very important. So let's read the little bio and then we'll dive in. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, where filters, CGI, and AI-generated visuals are commonplace, children are increasingly encountering enhanced and artificial content. And hey, not even just children, quite literally everyone. And I would say it's most common on your Facebook feeds or Instagram feeds. It's everywhere. The new reality prompts a critical question. Can they effectively discern what's real from what's not? A Nexus study underscored this challenge, finding that even AI-savvy adults correctly identified AI-generated images only about half the time. Such findings highlight the urgent need for robust media literacy education, especially for students navigating this complex digital terrain for the first time. So boom. Let's see. Category 1, wildlife and nature, poisonous frogs. Each set contains one real image and one that was AI generated. Select the real image. Okay, so between these two, I'm going to say that the eyeball on this one looks a bit more cartoony to me. I think there's like greater detail in this image. And the landscape, something about the landscape is more specific. I feel like sometimes it's a tool to like fuzz things out. And this moss kind of doesn't look real to me. So I'm going to say this is real. Was I supposed to? Yes, select the real one. Okay, and I got it right. And it's going to explain to us, I guess, some tools for identifying this. And I hope I did a pretty good job of explaining my mindset. In this case, the AI-generated image is actually more colorful, though that alone may not tell everything. Another area you can evaluate is the texture and pattern complexity. In the real version, the frog spots are much more detailed, whereas the AI version has spots that are much more simplistic. But But these are all details that if you're just scrolling through a feed, you're going to be taking a very fast-paced glance at it. And these are nuances that surely little to none of us are going to pick up on. I will say something about the eyeball. I'm surprised they don't point out the eyeballs, because to me, like, that was a real giveaway for me. The eye on this frog just looks so notably more real to me. But I do like that they point out that the real image is more colorful, because I feel like if I were to just rack my brain for what may be some indicators for something being AI generated rather than real life, I would maybe think like, oh yes, something being like just so much more colorful, or you may even think like containing more detail would be an indicator, because it's there's limitations with what a camera can capture. There's in theory less limitations for what a computer could render in theory, but no, that's not exactly the case. So all right, let's keep going. Category: historical events, the Titanic. This one is pretty obvious. This is the real one. Historical photos have distinct qualities due to the photographic technology of their time. When reviewing these images, look for signs of aging, such as fading or sepia tones, and the style of holy mackerel, I got mush mouth today. So sorry. And the style of photography prevalent during that era. AI-generated images may not accurately replicate these. But I will say, as a very, very experienced Photoshopper, I very oftentimes will stylize a photo, because it's a way of like kind of cloaking the fact that it's not real. So that's not necessarily the best metric to use, because I can't tell you how many photoshopped photos I did with celebrities just for funsies back when I was bored. And the best way to make sure that the lighting fits and like the ambiance of the photo fits is to make it black and white. And then it's even better in black and white, because if there's any like bad blending, you can literally just take like a black pixel brush and like black out whatever details don't blend right. So I'm going to say filter and noise isn't always the best tool to use to decide if something is real or fake, but I guess this is pointing towards something being too good to be true, I guess, in terms of us having just like amazing high quality photos of a historical event that obviously didn't have, like, that's an anachronism to have a high def photo from the Titanic. That's anachronistic. Anywho, let's keep it rolling. Category: people, students doing art projects. Okay, so I think we all at this point know the like hands. Sometimes AI can't get hands right, but they're getting better and better. So what I tend to look for these days is, I've heard a lot of hairdressers complain about people bringing in AI generated photos for hair reference photos. And if you look at the hair on some of these, there's this like almost brush mark quality to the photos that it's like very uncanny valley. I would say the eyes are also highlighted in a way that doesn't quite, it feels a little Pixar. It doesn't feel like a photo of a real life child. This does feel that way. So this is obviously AI generated, and I almost just selected it. But our task at hand is to select the real one. So that's the real one. This image is a great example of AI missing the mark on its depiction of people. While the technology continues to advance and create more realistic looking people, AI still struggles with details like arms and digits. So they're pointing out the hands thing. But look, I don't necessarily feel like that's the dead giveaway in this scenario. Like, for sure, there's like weird little pieces, but to me the hair was like a better giveaway. Yeah, they're pointing out the hands and the arms. Okay. Category: significant landmarks. Mount Fuji, Japan. The tree here just does not even look real. This is the real one. This is a tough one. Actually, it wasn't that tough. I don't want to brag, but both images of Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan, depict beautiful, vibrant, and realistic-looking scenery. This AI photo is also well done, with seemingly accurate reflections in the water. Yeah. But once again, it is a situation where it's like, if I saw both of these pictures on my feed, I'm not necessarily scrolling with enough, it's not paced. I'm not pacing myself when I scroll enough for me to discern. Granted, there's no real impact to me thinking that this photo is real versus this one, but I don't know. It's just these things worth considering. Category 5, space exploration. These are funny categories. Shuttle launch. Okay, this just doesn't look real at all to me. So this is the real one. Yeah. At first glance, these launch vehicle images share similar features and patterns, making them difficult to distinguish. I will say the coloring in this one, for whatever reason, made me think it was more real, because I think the high contrast and the smoke is very artistic. This was clearly taken by a very gifted photographer. This is a stunning image. And if you were to look at some of the details here, I don't know, you could almost convince yourself that the shape of the shuttle, if you weren't too familiar with what the shuttle looks like, the roundedness of this versus this, I almost think looks a little, you could convince yourself was AI generated, but it's not. The clouds have rich texture, color, and lighting distinctions that could lead one to believe they're both real. Exactly. Yet this is where our analytical skills come into play. We can uncover crucial clues by focusing on the nuances of lighting and texture. If you zoom in, it doesn't take long to notice how simplistic the shuttle design is in the AI-generated image compared with the real image, which features more complexity in the lines, divots, and shading. Very cool. Oh, wow. Hong Kong at night. So this is without a doubt real. You can see the colors always, all of the lighting at the tops of these buildings are gradient in the same way. Whereas there's just a lot more visual, there's a difference in how everything is lit in this one. So that's just, yeah. Cityscapes, especially at night, are among the more challenging images to evaluate. You'll notice both images have nice detailed lighting and shadows, though in this example, the real image has much more. Yeah, there's just a lot better detail in the real image. Oh, this is going to be hard to see. I would say these days, pictures of the auroras, I say that, but this is clearly AI generated. If you look at some of the it looks like the sky is folded. This is real. Yeah. But that's a tricky one. The auroras just already don't look very real. They're just so phenomenal that it is hard to tell the difference. Yeah, see, they're getting at that. In the realm of natural wonders, discerning the real from the artificial here is as challenging as it gets. These displays, with their vibrant, almost unbelievable colors, can blur the lines between reality and fantasy. For students who've never personally witnessed such a phenomenon, discerning the true northern lights is no easy feat. So, boom. Okay, animals are pretty tricky. I can tell the difference right away. I think this is the real one. Yeah. But how many people know what a pangolin looks like? And both of these animals look pretty real. The challenge of discerning reality from AI generated images becomes even more pronounced for students when it involves rare and unfamiliar animals. So this is pretty similar to the the previous Aurora's explanation. Their limited exposure makes it harder to spot inaccuracies or artificial representations. Yeah, I think I covered the main beats of that explanation. Okay, this is super duper interesting too. So, like, world history. This is pretty crazy because the texture in this one makes me feel like this one is real, but I don't feel like we had any. I don't feel like there's hieroglyphics with green, like this green pharaoh. That doesn't feel right to me. So I'm going to say, okay, this is great. I got my first one wrong. Real hieroglyph, inaccurate hieroglyph. I didn't even realize, like, yeah, this does look kind of spot brushed together in Photoshop. History can be another topic that requires additional inquiry. In these ancient Egyptian papyrus scroll images, both appear to be worn and dated in some way, which would make sense considering these scrolls would be thousands of years old. While the AI-generated image incorporates an aged artifact appearance, aged artifact. I was curious if they were using it as a verb, artifacted, or I guess that would be an adjective. You can see once again that AI struggled to get the people right. Zoom in to see the hands are missing and arms went nowhere or end out of nowhere. Despite the artifact's wear and tear over time, the hands and digits would still likely exist even if faded. Also, a quick analysis of the hieroglyphs show they are not actual Egyptian symbols. This is pretty crazy though, because like in my mind I would expect smudging. But something about this, I don't know, I guess I just didn't expect, like, I guess this imagery is unfamiliar to me. I wasn't really expecting, like, green and horns and something about the look of the papyrus in here is, it almost, again, it's like when I was explaining, like, with the Titanic photo that sometimes if I was photoshopping something, I would add texture or noise to sort of camouflage it. I kind of just assumed that's what the texture was doing here. So this definitely fooled me. That's pretty crazy. For a moment, I thought this said category, women's suffrage movement. I thought I was getting its own category. Influential events and figures. This is very clearly AI because of the text. And the amount of detail we're getting in the face and the way that they are foregrounded, it's all indicative, like the depth of field, stuff like that. We weren't really cooking like that back then, you know? So this is the real one. Let's see what it points out, though. When analyzing images of influential events and figures, especially historical ones, scrutinize the details closely, especially when it comes to people and their facial expressions. Authentic photographs capture a person's facial, natural asymmetry and unique nuances, while AI versions may show overly symmetrical or slightly distorted features. Additionally, consider the historical context. Examine the clothing, background settings, and photographic style. That's what I was talking about, the photographic style, for authenticity to reveal whether an image truly belongs to its claimed time period or is a modern AI-generated creation. These should align with the era's fashion, typical photographic quality, and known historical backdrops. So yeah, blurred hair, illegible text. In this particular case, you can spot the AI-generated version by examining both the people and the signs they're holding. Both are less crisp than the real version, as the women in the AI-generated image have blurring in their face and hair, and the letters and symbols on their signs appear jumbled and nonsensical. I would say fashion-wise, though, like none of them are wearing clothing that is out of period, from what I can tell. But the photographic style is definitely a tip-off. Okay, we're not going to dive in on all of these additional steps, but I have linked this website that we're using down below. And I think that is going to be all in terms of our playing CAPTCHA together today lesson, I guess, in media literacy. I will say I have already seen, as initially I pointed out, this quiz came out in 2024. I still think it was clearly a great quiz because it stumped me a couple times, but I have definitely seen more realistic fakes out there. And of course, there are just a million different ways that false information and AI generated imagery and videos is out there and spreading. So it is more than just trying to figure out which red-eyed tree frog is more detailed than the other. I'll leave you with that. I hope this was fun. I feel like it was fun for me. I didn't really expect to be stumped, but I was. I am looking at my score, though. I guess I got 9 out of 10 correctly. I kind of thought I got more than just the one wrong. But the fact that I got the one wrong is kind of a big deal, I think. Especially because it was like a historical artifact that I got wrong. You know, like that feels kind of a big deal. So I leave you with that. Go and try it out if you want to take the quiz yourself. It's linked down below, and I will see y'all again Wednesday. And we will not be taking an online quiz on Wednesday. We will do something new and exciting and cool, and we'll create something, we'll edit something, we'll talk about something. But it's been a minute since we've logged on and taken a quiz together, and it feels like this was the right thing for today. Okay, I'll see y'all